What makes a 10 out of 10 fragrance for me? Well, as I said in all the previous episodes of this faux series, it's really just three main things. Number one, it has to smell amazing. Yes, the scent should smell good. In fact, it should smell great. In fact, it should smell phenomenal. And that's really up to me. What is phenomenal to you is up to you. Number two, it is a top functional contender in my wardrobe. What that means is that I have lots of different types of fragrances that I wear for different types of scenarios or moods or feelings or times of the year, whatever it is. And these fragrances in those types are the top ones that I think about when I'm deciding what fragrance to wear for a specific occasion. And the third thing is the thing that makes it special. And unfortunately, that also makes it almost useless for me to make a video like this because it's the X factor. It is the way these fragrances make me feel, the way that they affect my mind, my limbic brain more specifically, in a way when I'm wearing them, when I'm smelling them around me, that I don't have the words for. It is literally inexplicable. And that is just me and my own personal experience. Me making this video is not trying to tell you or send a message to you as the viewer, you need to buy these fragrances because they are
incredible, amazing, and blah 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 blah, fill in the blank.
That's not what this is about. I'm just honestly sharing with you what I love. My hope is that it resonates with you too. If you have tried these fragrances and you also love them, or even if you don't, let us know what you think down in the comments. And if you haven't tried them, then yeah, maybe this could serve as some recommendations for the next items you should be looking at if you are looking to get some newness in your olfactive sphere. And there will be links to everything down in the description. So with that out the way, let's dive into these 10 out of 10 designer fragrances. This first one up here is from the house of Tom Ford. It is Tom Ford Noir Extreme Parfum. I honestly hate this name. It just seems so redundant and so superfluous. The word superfluous is pretty superfluous when you think about it. It's like saying nothing by saying a lot, if that makes sense. But it is what it is. It comes from the Noir line, which I love, which birthed the Noir Extreme Flanker, which is fantastic, which birthed this Noir Extreme Parfum. So I'm just gonna accept it for what it is. But what does it smell like? It smells a little bit like Noir Extreme, but there's something darker about it. There's something more rough about it, something a little bit less unisex. I think a lot of people found the original Noir Extreme to be quite a unisex fragrance. I think it's perfectly masculine, but I can see how it could go down the middle. I think this leans a little bit more towards the masculine side. It is sweet, rich, and almost gourmand-like. There is still that coffee note, which is kind of nutty, dessert-like in a way. There's a warm vanilla to it. There's some alluring spices. Cardamom really reigns supreme here, and cardamom is a beautiful note when it comes to making some kind of alluring night out fragrance profile. And I think what leans it a little bit more on the masculine side for me is the leather. The leather note is accentuated here, brings again this roughness to it. When I first tried this on a blotter when it came out in stores, I thought it was good. I had no plans of getting it because it just reminded me of the original Noir Extreme, and it didn't blow me away, but it was a good smelling scent. However, it's not until I actually wore this. I got a bottle because I just got really curious, wore it on a night out, and was kind of blown away by that wearing experience. The sillage that was around me, it was just affecting me in a very specific way that captured my attention all night long, had me sniffing it out around me. And something I forgot to mention at the beginning, when I do experience fragrances that affect me in this way, which is all the ones in this video, they kind of shut off my fraghead brain. I'm not smelling them and analyzing them and, oh, there's cardamom, oh, there's the leather, oh, there's the vanilla. No, all of that is irrelevant. I'm just enjoying them. Really as simple as that. Anyway, let me know what you think. If you haven't tried it, there's going to be a link in the description. This next one up is kind of a tease. I do apologize because you might not be able to find this, at least very easily, if at all. It has been discontinued for several years now. This is from the house of YSL. It's a shame they discontinued this wonderful flanker. They've done that with several of the great flankers in this collection. And this is L'Homme Ultime. Man, this stuff is beautiful. I've loved it ever since I first tried it when it came out. And if you love the L'Homme DNA, it's in here. It is contained. You do have that ginger, which is kind of zingy, warm, and spicy. You do have this kind of smooth, sweet, woody freshness in there that characterizes the DNA. But what sets this apart, what gives it its face, is the rose and the cedar wood along with that ginger. It's really those three elements working together together this warm, spicy, fresh floral, and dry woody profile that does smell like L'Homme, but just accentuated in very specific ways to make it its own thing. It just smells very elegant. It can be a relatively easygoing fragrance. I would say it's a little bit more classy, more elegant than the original L'Homme, where I typically confine L'Homme to just the daytime. This is day or night really for me, and the way it makes me feel, it kind of transcends mainstream fragrances. It transcends designer, at least for me, and you'll see other examples of that on this list. But for now, that is L'Homme Ultime. If you've had the pleasure of trying this one, let me know what you think. I'll link to what I can find down below, but I don't anticipate finding much. Sorry in advance. This is one of those examples where you may not resonate with this. You might already have tried this and you might be scratching your head wondering why I love this fragrance and why it's in a video like this. Like I said, I don't have the words. I'm sure you understand. From Paco Rabanne, this is 1 Million Lucky. If I'm not mistaken, this is the only fragrance from Paco Rabanne that I currently own. And it's the only fragrance I plan to own. This one caught me by surprise. I've had this bottle for years now, have worn it more than several times over the years. It's one that my wife actually really loves on me, which surprised me as well. And it's one that I think really stands out in the line, maybe next to the Privé, but I actually prefer this to the Privé, even though they're almost nothing alike. This is kind of a unique take on a very mainstream profile. It's just accomplished in a different way. Plum, aldehydes, hazelnut, honey. What's going on here? It's like a fruity, warm, nutty, sweet gourmand fragrance with this freshness to it. And there's not much more to it than that, at least for me. As it dries on the skin, I wouldn't say it gets more special or anything like that. It does dry into this relatively typical mainstream, sweet, woody, dry down profile, but it still doesn't smell exactly like anything else as far as these type of sweet mainstream fragrances go. It does it a little bit differently, and I'm not trying to defend it in terms of what it smells like. Again, the reason why it's in this video is because of the way it makes me feel when I wear it. I'm wearing it, it has my attention, and I'm just thinking this is a 10. This is a 10. I love the confidence that it imbues in me when I'm walking into the room smelling like this. If you happen to love this, let me know. If you don't like it, that's fine. We can talk about it either way, but just know that neither one of us are wrong. That is 1 Million Lucky from Paco Rabanne. An absolute classic. This fragrance has to be almost 30 years old at this point, if not a little older than that. I'm not sure. This is from Chanel and it is platinum. Egoiste. I've been raving about this ever since I picked up this bottle last year. It was a fragrance that I smelled years back. I wasn't ready for it. It smelled a little bit too sophisticated for me, but I knew that coming back to it years later, my nose will have matured and now I can appreciate it, and it has become one of my absolute favorite aromatic fougères. Man. Yes, it is that typical profile, fresh, clean, soapy, spicy, herbal, and green. There's almost a minty quality in here. I do think that the name is perfect, platinum. It does have this almost metallic, sharp, cooling freshness, and I think that's what might throw some people off. I think that's what I found maybe a little bit too mature when I first tried it, but I love that about it now because it makes it definitive. It actually makes it stand out in the genre. If I smell 10, 15, 20 different aromatic fougères side by side blindly, pretty certain I'll be able to pick out Platinum Egoiste, and you might too if you've tried many and you also tried this one, because it just stands out. There's a reason why it's still on shelves today. I'm going to link to what I can find in this video. If you haven't checked this one out yet and you are ready for a clean, masculine, refined, gentlemanly, and versatile scent profile, this might be one to consider. That is Chanel Platinum Egoiste. It is also a shame that you cannot find this fragrance easily. Again, I'll link to what I can find if I can find anything about this one, but it is discontinued, unfortunately, but it is so beautiful. From Issey Miyake, this is L'Odyssée pour Homme or Encens, which means gold incense. And this is an incense fragrance. Wow. Ambery incense. Labdanum, I believe. It is a resinous, balsamic feel, kind of damp, sweet. Maybe some other resins in there. There's definitely some rose, and again that incense, which might be from olibanum. It is a smoky, kind of cooling, wispy quality with this fresh, slightly jammy rose and lots of resins and woods kind of grounding it, giving it a lot of dimension does not smell like a mainstream fragrance. Definitely does not smell like your typical designer fragrance. I'm not saying it is the highest quality. I'm not saying it is the most supreme ingredients that you can put into a fragrance. No, when this retailed, it didn't retail for hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which implies some kind of profit margin where they're trying to recoup on the money they put into it. But the ingredients they use in this are more than good enough, and they come together in a way that supersedes what you expect from this type of fragrance in this part of the industry. And let me know if you've had the fortune of trying this one or if you have it. That's Encens. Nothing new here. I've been raving about this since I got this bottle a while back. Been talking about it a lot on my channel, and I know many of you guys dig this one as well. One of the best from the house in a while, that is Pasha de Cartier Parfum. And this takes the original DNA, which is another aromatic fougere, another classic that probably came out not too far removed from the Chanel. It modernizes it. It kind of strips away the explicit barbershop qualities that the original has, makes it a little bit smoother, a little bit more boozy, sweet, resinous, and woody, which makes it just perfectly nighttime oriented. It is still a gentlemanly fragrance. It does smell a little bit more mature, does smell, again, a little bit more sophisticated, not your super young kid going out clubbing, picking up chicks kind of scent. No, this is, you got your stuff together, you're refined, your self-image is way too high to care if people don't like you. But you know that with just a few sprays of this, you just accentuate the power you already have in being your authentic self. I don't know where all that came from, but that's how I feel when I wear this. It makes me feel like myself. Let me know if you dig this one. That is Pasha de Cartier Parfum. This is a classic to this channel. This is no stranger. This has been on this channel since the inception of this channel. So those of you guys who've been around a while, nothing new here. If you are new here, ironically enough, this might be new to you because no one's really talking about this fragrance anymore these days, but I definitely talked about it a lot and may have been somewhat responsible for its surge in popularity years back. From Varvatos, this is Vintage. And this is one of those fragrances that is so beautifully composed. There's a lot of elements going on. A few kind of stick out here and there. Some suede, a little bit of a clean feeling, maybe some warm spices, a little bit of a fruitiness. It's almost a fougere-like profile, but the way everything comes together, it's blended that it doesn't feel like it's a complicated scent profile, but it is kind of complex. There's a lot going on beneath the surface. I do get this, again, kind of warm, smooth, leathery, sweet, fougere-like profile that just smells very masculine. Once again, also a little bit mature, but not old-fashioned, if that makes sense. It's still perfectly modern. And you can still find this fragrance online for really great prices as far as I know. Let me know if you dig this one. Let everyone else know what you think in the comments if you've tried it. If you haven't tried it for some reason, whether or not you decide to check it out at the links below, I do think it's available at most major department stores out there who carry Varvatos. So give it a spray, put it on your skin, on your hand or something. See what you think. And I know I featured quite a number of discontinued gems. Unfortunately, this last one falls under the same category. It is a fragrance that is still out there on the discount websites from time to time. If you can find it, you might just want to go for it. If you do your research, it sounds like something that would suit your taste and what you're looking to fill in your collection. It is really special. It's not going to be for everyone. It's a special scent. This is from Prada. This is Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. This is a fragrance that when I first tried it, back when it was still in stores, I hated it. I threw that blotter down as quick as I sprayed it and got the heck out of there. This stuff just smelled weird to me. But as our noses do, the more we sniff, the more we expose ourselves to, our tastes change. I came back to it maybe last year, scooped up this bottle, got really lucky with it, and as I kind of predicted, I love this stuff now. I would describe it as dark soap. Dark resinous soap. Myrrh resin is the forward resin here. It is a sweeter resin, but there's something clean about it, kind of like the original Amber Pour Homme. Doesn't smell exactly like that. It is a little bit of a departure from it. Although I would categorize it as dark and almost more earthy leaning, there is still something almost soapy about it. Something clean, not necessarily fresh, but clean, if that makes sense. It is kind of a complex fragrance. It doesn't smell exactly like anything else out there other than maybe Tom Ford Noir EDP, which I also love, but it does set itself apart a little bit from that. Let me know if you happen to have tried this one from Prada. This is a gem, and for me, it's a 10 out of 10. I love how I feel when I wear this. I might wear it in a shirt like this, black collared shirt, button down, especially in the evening. Man, they better watch out. I haven't worn this in a while. I need to wear it soon. That is Prada Amber Pour Homme Intense. Let me know what you think of these fragrances, if you've tried them. Are any of them 10 out of 10s for you? I want to know if we share some tastes. If we don't, it's okay, but if we do, that's fantastic. Once again, check everything out in the links down below if you haven't checked them out already, and thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.